What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Josh Button Podcast, where we discuss outliers from society. Today is episode 36, and for myself, it's a special episode for multiple reasons, but tomorrow is my birthday. And last night, I received an early birthday gift that I was absolutely stoked about, and something I had never seen before, but was truly compelled upon first glance to do a podcast specifically on this gift. And I'm going to show you. I don't have the media to upload for you, but I'm going to go ahead and give you a glance. This is the 12 Commandments of Jiu Jitsu by Mr. Carlos Gracie, Grand Master of Jiu Jitsu and famous member of the Gracie family. So I want to go through this and, I'll give you some notes along the way of what things mean to me, but I want to give you the general idea of really what jiu-jitsu is. It's far more than a grappling sport. It's far more than self-defense. It's far more than something grown men like myself go to do for fun and enjoyment, which most or a lot of people would absolutely be, turned off by and would probably reject pretty quickly if you offered this to them. Much less get obsessed with it and spend so much time on the mats and studying when you're away from the mats. But anyways, 12 Commandments of Jiu Jitsu by Grandmaster Carlos Gracie. Number 1, be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind. Think about that. Be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind. That is true strength. What is better than peace of mind? If you're a truly strong individual, you will refuse to allow the things that you have no control over and things beyond your control to bother you, especially to defile your mind, your state of being. Number 2, speak to everyone of happiness, health, and prosperity. Why is that important? To speak to everyone of happiness, health, and prosperity. Not only are you playing a game with your psychology, you're playing a game with their psychology. You are a therapist on the go, if you will. And to be quite honest, we create reality. Every day, we create reality with what we allow our minds to process and repeat and the things that we think about and project onto the world, whether we know it or not. So let's be honest. If you have the intention to speak to everyone of happiness, health, and prosperity, it's going to affect all of us. It's going to raise the tide and bring all the boats around you to a higher place. We are vibrational creatures. We have this energy, this aura about us that is undeniable. You know it when somebody walks into the room that's really, really not in the right place, or is really dejected, or is stressed and in a bad mood. The energy that overwhelms the rest of the people in the room, it's undeniable. You also know that when somebody walks through the door and they are glowing and they are happy, they have a smile on their face, and they are bringing nothing but joy and enthusiasm to a room, the effect that has on everyone in the room. Sure, some people might be a little bit intimidated by that and might want to crawl into a hole somewhere and hide. But, the rest of the room feels that energy has been lifted. And I absolutely, in my lifetime, have grown to appreciate people that bring that positive energy into a room far more than I ever will somebody who's haughty and has a nasty spirit or an attitude or is even just cocky and arrogant. Like, why do I want that in my face? Why do I want that to be surrounded by that? I want people that are, speaking to everyone of happiness, health, and prosperity. I think that's beautiful. Number 3, give all your friends the feeling of being valued. How important is that? We all have relationships day to day in passing, ones that we have intimate time with due to work, due to being family members, or, just different people that we're going to encounter on a regular basis. It's very important to make those friends feel valued. How do some of us old school guys do that? How do some of us old heads do that? I think you'll realize fairly quickly as a young man that your friends talk shit to you and you talk shit to your friends. And this carries over, or should carry over, later on in life with people you actually care about, people you value. We're toughening ourselves up to a certain degree, but we're having fun with it. We are giving each other a hard time. And that is, in most cases, our way of saying, hey, man, I value you. And I know that you can take a little bit of verbal punishment or ribbing or fair joking. You can take it. I can dish it. You can dish it back on me, and I'm going to take it as well. Now, we've all encountered people that are sensitive and can't quite take it that well. And when that happens, I think maybe we should process that a little bit and think, oh, maybe they don't value me as much as they should. And maybe that relationship was a one-way street. Maybe it just says something about that. Number 4, always look at things from a positive point of view and turn positivity into a reality of life. Turn positivity into a reality of life. If we are dwelling on the negative, if we are thinking about the doomsday scenarios all the time, that is going to be our reality. It doesn't matter what's going on out there in Ukraine, in Israel, in Russia, in China. If we're contemplating those things all the time, this will be our reality right here in our own backyards. For myself, this has always been a challenge that, well, sometimes I just wasn't up to the task of defeating or acknowledging that this challenge was specific to me. When I was paying attention to the things in the world that were absolutely heinous and negative, and I allow it to affect my reality when I think about it too much. Yes, I think we should all want to spawn change for the better. But if we're not focusing on the things that we can control, if we're not focusing on the positive and the best outcomes possible, we're not going to have them. It's just going to be impossible to achieve greatness when we're dwelling on failure. Big challenge for myself throughout my past. And even in the last 2 years, I've gone through waves of a debate inner debate within me that says, hey man, should I still be waking people up from a coma, from a state in which they seem to be very comfortable, trusting and offering blind allegiance to experts and authorities that do not have their best interest at hand? Or should I really just draw back a little bit, focus on me, what I can control, the example that I'm putting out, and how I can improve my conditions every day? Because I've seen far more superior results in my own life when I did turn and I put the mirror up and I started to look at my own conditions in my own life and started to, instead of struggling with the things that are wrong with the rest of the world and communicating these things to other people, hey man, let me just focus on myself and really start to turn any and every little bits of potential failure in my life around. Let's make it an example for what can be done by anybody that is interested and wants to watch, wants to participate, wants to follow along. If not, that's fine. Let them live their reality. If they come to you and ask you for something, that's always the time to offer advice. But like I've said before, free advice, unsolicited advice, is nothing more than criticism, and most people do not take criticism well. And well, I guess to be quite honest, we're kind of holding ourselves back by offering it unsolicited. So yes, for myself, turn positivity into a reality of life. Always look at things from a positive point of view. With that said, I have noticed that when I shared the message of the reality we should be creating and the things that have come out in the public eye lately that have spawned change, we should be absolutely grasping that and magnifying it and offering people that never have really contemplated a positive and better future and a better reality for all of us, that it's coming. Embrace that positive future and turn it into the reality of life right now. I love that one. Number 5, think only about the best. work only for the best, and always expect the best. This goes hand in hand with what we were just saying. This isn't just jujitsu, this is life. This is life personified. If you know you're taken care of, and you know that you can put your nose to the grindstone and accomplish more and more and more, it doesn't matter how tired you get. Just know that you are dictating a positive outcome by grinding and by acknowledging this is what we're here for. This is what we are all here for. Self-improvement, self-mastery. Yes, life is a struggle, but man, how do you feel when you've overcome and conquered a real challenge in life? Think about the best, work only for the best, and always expect the best. Awesome. All right, next, always be as enthusiastic about the victories of others as you are with yours. I found that so many times in jiu-jitsu. Whether I'm working on techniques and drills and we're working from specific positions, or even in open roles and in sparring with a training partner, when they get the best of you, it is all good to acknowledge you got the best of me on that. You were successful in what you were trying to do. You caught me lacking the proper defense or technique to stop you from doing what you wanted to do. Why not celebrate that? You make a mental note of that person's success in the moment. It better prepares you for the next time you're facing the exact same circumstance. But also, that's what we are all there for. We are all there to improve. How are you going to improve if you're not, highlighting the things that other people are doing right so that, you can either mimic them, or B, you can defend against them? This is life as well. This isn't just jujitsu. And you know what, to be quite honest, your training partners are always going to have more respect for you if you can acknowledge the things that they're doing right. Even if you're just acknowledging what they're doing in sparring or in their other competitions against other people. Highlighting something, a technique, or even a moment of just brute strength and will and grit. If you can acknowledge that and voice it and celebrate it, it's going to have a positive and profound impact on everyone involved, yourself included. That is for sure. I've learned this many times. As soon as I'm celebrating the successes of people that are training with me, well, I'm learning from that. I'm gathering information in that situation. They say the best way to learn something proficiently is to study it, to learn it, but then also to retain it, go and teach it. Go and teach it. So in that thought process, how important is it for you to be able to communicate to yourself and what the other person is doing, reiterate the points and the success that they're having so that you can absorb it and then perhaps even teach it and perhaps retain it for your game or for your life for the long run. Next, forget about past mistakes and concentrate your energies on the victories ahead. This one for me too it's been a challenge in my adult life, especially, to acknowledge the mistakes that I've made, but forget about them, and then to concentrate my energies on the victories ahead. Look, for myself, I've had all kinds of challenges as an adult, but relationships was one of them. And I've made mistakes in past relationships due to not loving myself and not really being patient enough with myself to have respect for myself that really is necessary for health and for, improving your life and improving your conditions consistently. I have made mistakes. One of the great challenges in life is to forget them. Forget them and concentrate your energy on the victories ahead because of the lessons you've learned from those. Can't say it enough. Every single day is an opportunity to begin, to restart your engine and begin. Set your goals high, aim for the kingdom of heaven here on earth, and get going. Why not? You have nothing to lose. Every day in your past is gone. There is nothing to do about them except for change and reward yourself with the opportunity to do better today. It is the most precious thing that we have in life, is right here, this moment, this present moment. How can I improve my conditions, and how can I outdo anything that I've ever accomplished in my past? So yes, learn from them, but forget the mistakes, move forward, do not repeat them. Always make those around you happy and keep a pleasant attitude to all those who address you. We get caught up in our moods, we get caught up in stressful thoughts and things that, aren't really pertinent to the moment that we are living in all kinds of situations. Whether you're riding the elevator with people, whether you're working, you got an office meeting, whether you're ordering food at a restaurant, all the people around you deserve, well, respect first and foremost. And I think we can really achieve that by having a pleasant attitude. So if somebody's taking your food order, have a pleasant attitude to that person. Nothing perturbs me quite as much as somebody being rude to a waiter in a restaurant. And it's one of those things that, I guess, if you've never really worked in a restaurant, you don't understand the challenges of that job. But we all go into establishments to eat, and maybe it slips our mind that this person could be having a bad day. They could be going through all kinds of, personal drama. Let's treat them with a pleasant attitude. Everyone. It's a real challenge. It is very hard to be gentle and kind, especially when you're going through something, you're stressed out, you have other things on your mind. Being gentle and kind is one of the greatest challenges that you can present to yourself every day. Apply the largest amount of your time on self-improvement and no time criticizing others. Beautiful. Beautiful. I wish I knew that at 20. One of those things that, I need to forget everything that I did through my 20s made me who I was. But once I applied this to my life, wow, did I change my conditions. Maybe that's one of the things that I really set as a goal in this podcast and in the things that I'm doing now for creative outlets and for, my own personal purpose, is to work on improving myself, but also putting it out there that this has changed my life for the better in so many ways that I can't recommend it enough. And yes, we've all been critical of others from time to time, and we're all critical of the people that we're supposed to be dependent upon in some way because, well, they've failed us over and over and over again. And we can easily sit and point fingers and point out the problems. But if we're not improving ourselves and we're doing that, it's even worse. It's even more null and void to those around us and ourselves. Let's be honest. You can't really change the world unless you are trying to change yourself first. This is a reality. Become too big to feel unrest, too noble to feel anger, too strong to feel fear, and too happy to tumble in adversity. That's a big one, right? Become too big to feel unrest, too strong to be uneasy, too noble to feel anger. Road rage trigger anybody? Somebody's cutting you off. You know what? It's not personal. This person is just going about their business how they see fit or how they're wired at the moment. Let's be honest. Some people are driving around with Instagram in one hand, a cup of coffee in the other hand, and really loose intentions. Intentional driving is one of those things. It's, I think it's more rare than it is common. And if we're expecting it to be the norm, well, we are set up for failure and disappointment every time we drive anywhere. Become too noble to feel anger, too strong to feel fear, and too happy to tumble in adversity. Adversity presents opportunity. Over and over and over again, I've learned this so many times. Adversity is part of life. We all encounter it. Can you turn that adversity into an opportunity to raise your game, to raise your personal connection with yourself and what you're capable of? Raise your vibration. get higher than the challenges that are presented to us in life and the circumstances, which can be quite depressing from time to time. Dang, everybody goes through it. Nobody escapes life without those challenges, and they're all unique to each individual and ourselves. Too strong to feel fear. That one's a tough one too. It's easy to pay attention to external circumstances and think, oh man, there's nothing that can be done about all of these huge mega problems. And there's so many afflictions out there to be afraid of. And not only that, the unknown. So many people fear the unknown because they're dwelling in the past and they had not used adversity as opportunities to overcome something or opportunities to grow or opportunities to learn. That will put you in a state where, hey, irrational fear isn't as irrational anymore. Look, if you live a life of faith and you take one step and put it in front of the other towards your goals and dreams, I think along the way, you can't help but notice things that just work out in your favor. And when you start to notice that, well, it becomes a lot easier to live a life of faith, live a life in the reality that it's going to be okay. It's going to work itself out. And, perhaps you're not going to face conditions that you cannot overcome. More often than not, I think that is the case. Choice by choice, decision by decision, we are either, neglecting responsibility or engaging it. And if we're engaging it, I think it becomes a lot more possible to live without fear. Next, always have positive opinion of yourself and tell it to the world, not through words of vanity, but through benevolence. Some people have asked me about my self-deprecating humor, why I make fun of the modeling thing so much. And honestly, this has a profound impact on myself because it's not that I didn't have the positive opinion about myself. It's that the things that people were complimenting me for the most aren't really the things I was the most proud of. I can build things. I grew up on roofing sites and construction sites, and I've been a personal trainer. I've obviously come through this health and wellness thing on the backside of alcoholism and partying and other personal addictions, which were just, not, it was neglecting self-love, to be honest. But the things that people were quick to praise me for weren't things that I could actually take ownership of. I mean, to a certain degree, you take good care of yourself, you keep yourself in shape, you look, you look good. That's great. But genetics has a lot to do with that. My mom and dad have just as much responsibility for my good looks as I did. Let's be honest. And to be quite honest, the longer I was in the business, the more I partied and the more I kind of neglected some of those things, the more it showed on my face. And yes, I would get jobs, but I would pick apart the little details about myself that were just, they were character. They were these lines under my eyes. Now that I've got the cauliflower ear, there's so many things. This broken finger, check that thing out. There's so many things about me that are not the typical perfect beauty or the thing that you would think about when you're talking about male modeling. And I bring up the Zoolander thing all the time. I use it in different little video clips because I think it's such a hilarious character. The professionally good looking. And the Dr. Pepper thing. People, I'm sure that some people have thought, oh man, this guy is absolutely as vain as they come. But I was truly making fun of myself so much because it aligned with my view of the business I worked in. Not just that I didn't respect it, but I thought it was hilarious. And sure, it presented me opportunities to travel, different gigs that I did were absolutely awesome personal experiences. And yes, I flooded the internet and my agencies flooded the internet and clients flooded the internet with images that were, pretty cool images because of the location or because of the styling. Who doesn't like to clean up every now and then? But to be quite honest, what was I really taking away from that I was proud of, that that I could be changing or having an impact on the world in a positive fashion because of something that I struggled through and I worked so hard for. Yes, there were situations where it did work out that way, but for the most part, I thought it was pretty shallow and pretty vain. And one of the main reasons why I had, a struggle with various parts of the business. It's not to criticize others, but it's a business in which people sell out. It's a business in which people are offered situations to come up on money, on different jobs that they wouldn't have necessarily got had they not lowered their standards or their integrity or just pretty much sold their soul. That's one thing I'm very proud of, is that, I had a pretty good reputation for being untouchable in those ways. My agent wouldn't send me to certain situations because he knew that it wouldn't probably go the way that that client or that photographer would like it to. And I judge that as well. So forget words of vanity. Forget propping myself up or propping ourselves up for things that are, just vain. Believe strongly that the world is on your side if you keep true to what is best within you. Just what I was saying. And 100%, I believe strongly that the world is on my side. I did not believe strongly that the world was on my side when I was modeling and going to casting calls all over the place and traveling to get to markets where I was just peddling a book full of photos, so to speak. There is nothing wrong with modeling and acting and pursuing the arts and being creative with these things. I enjoy so much of it. But when you know that you're in an environment which, doesn't bring the best out of you and doesn't highlight the best that's within you, and you're not true to yourself in those regards, you're going to feel the deficiencies of the situation. I posted something the other day about some of us just not being well suited for humiliation rituals and something else. I forget what I put on it. But it's true. There was a handful of us in the business, friends, associates, that I would say I have more in common with than most of the business. But we all knew the dark side of the business, that there was plenty of people who were not true to who they are and would sell out, and they would be put up on a pedestal real quick. They would be highlighted, peddled as the next face of, and used for various campaigns that we all thought were, great because of the money and because of the advertising dollars that would go into them. But those people would disappear as well. And there was no mystery after a few years why. It's unfortunate, but this was the case. And you can say what you want about the people that were doing the hiring or the photographers that were shooting those jobs, or, the various wrongs in the business. And it's probably in every business, let's be honest. There's restaurant managers that are pigs. There's definitely Hollywood's full of people that have the casting couch mentality and things that are, absolutely detrimental to a young, impressionable person if they allow themselves to lack integrity or to sell themselves short for opportunity. And while this is probably in every line of work, Wall Street probably has it, doctors' offices for that matter, who knows? Every line of work has creeps and people that take advantage of situations that they probably shouldn't when they feel like they have some kind of power. But if you can live your life being true to what is best within you and keep that integrity and keep driving on and believe strongly that the world is on your side, I believe those doors will open as well. For myself, some people call it manifesting. I call it manifesting, but I also call it being clear with what you want in life and writing it down and then watching as you improve your own conditions and you take one step and put it in front of the other and you go about your life, that those things do come into fruition in your life. It's happened for me over and over and over again. So believe strongly that the world is on your side if you keep true to what is best within you. That was the last one. The 12 Commandments of Jiu Jitsu by Grandmaster Carlos Gracie. For me, this is awesome. Takagi, thank you for the gift. I will keep this on my wall. It will probably go right there in the background. And it's absolutely, positively a great manuscript for jiu-jitsu, but also for life. I mean, all of these things, I think, are applicable to all of our lives, not just those on the mats. But if you are putting yourself on the mats, definitely give this list a good, thorough reading. Think about what they mean to you. See how you can apply them on and off the mats. And I think there is something to be gained from this for everyone. Once again, I am stoked to almost be through this month of the challenge that I have, presented myself. Tomorrow is my birthday. I have rewarded myself in the best way I know possible with Misogi. What is Misogi? Misogi is an annual challenge, a great adventure, or something that you're going to ask the most out of yourself to accomplish. You probably shouldn't even be able to do it and be able to accomplish it. Maybe you should make it so grand that it is that big of a challenge that it's going to be very difficult. And for myself, I didn't meet every last criteria that I set at the beginning of the month. I had some back issues. I had a birthday party that came up where there was nothing to eat that I wanted to eat. Wasn't in my list of selected eating, but I'm okay with that. It wasn't about being perfect or attaining it exactly within the lines, as long as I gave this all the opportunity and all of myself to this opportunity to improve, to challenge myself, to ask the most that I could. And I can't wait for the next one. I'm going to probably set these periodically now going forward, as opposed to just one great one per year. And I will come up with a bigger and greater one for every year. Misogi, look it up. I'm going to put that into maybe the show notes or into my next project. That's for sure. The 30 Days of Carnage is almost over, and I'm going to celebrate and then move on to the next one, because why not? Let's get more and more and more accustomed to overcoming intense and regular challenges. That's what life is. If you have anything that you kind of want to see people go through to show you exactly how they do it and what works for them, raising the bar, well, give me that feedback. Put it in the comments. I would love to hear. And for that matter, maybe we'll just start a little challenge. See which way we can challenge others to do things that are outside their boxes, and see what happens with that. I'm gonna get that some thought for sure. Anyways, thank you for joining me. That was the 12 Commandments of Jiu Jitsu. I'm stoked to have this. I'm stoked I could share. And I hope you all get as much from it as I have. If you are on YouTube, I am sincerely grateful if you would like and subscribe. That will help that channel grow. If you're on Rumble or you're listening on Apple or Spotify, help me out. Show me that support. Give me a little feedback there. I will interact with you directly. If you're on Instagram, picking up little clips, listen to a full episode here and there, or give me some feedback on those social media pages too. I am all ears, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say. Thank you for joining me. This was episode 36 of the Josh Button Podcast. I will talk to you all soon.